As we are about a week after PAX 2022, we still go through a lot of footage and experiences of what we saw on the show floor last week. One of the things we got to do is sit down with the developers of Metalcore, as they claim it, NFT-based open-world mechanized combat game. This means a lot of mech units, a lot of fighting, massive maps, and basically you fight alongside your faction in territorial battles on a mineral-rich alien planet for domination. You'll get to use vehicles, machines, craft gear, recruit pilots. There's a lot to do in this game. We talked to the developers about what this NFT-based portion means of the game, how the combat works, and what their vision is for the future.
So this game is an open world, free-to-play, combined arms shooter. We got infantry, armored fighting vehicles, mechs, and airplanes, all in large scale open world battles. Now what we're doing for the demo is what we call an open world event. So while you're playing the open world, these little flashpoints will pop up on the map where you have things like, this is a domination map where everyone fights over one control point. It could be a CTF, it could be a giant world boss. You know, it could be a whole bunch of different things that this could be to drive players to those locations to engage in these events to earn more rewards, XP, and things like that. So this here's your player garage. This is where your hub is. You'll be able to go out here and test out your vehicles. You go up here and you manage all of the vehicles you own through this holographic display center. So you go in here and bring up your vehicles, you can change your loadouts, craft, and do all the things you need to do here. And down here is where you choose on the planet where you're going to go. So right now, you know, we're going to open up different battlefields. Right now we're working on one of them. They're really large, and within that battlefield you have, you know, a bunch of hexes. You can fight territory wars over there to occupy them, and when you occupy them, you gain bonus income whenever you do stuff inside those things. We'll jump in real quick. Oh yeah, so we were inspired a lot by Planet Side 2. So we like the idea of large-scale combat taking over.
Play that.
Also, you know, a Battlefield, Battlefront, a lot of that stuff is like, you know, really what we're into.
So you want large-scale multiplayer battles?
Yes.
Okay.
But also, when you're not doing that, you're doing missions in the world.
Okay, so the story mode.
Yeah, there's a narrative that'll take you through it, but you're not in a linear story mode. As you do these missions and you go through the world, you'll start to get narrative that connects together, and you sort of figure out, oh, there's something going on here.
Right.
And you sort of experience the story.
As opposed to just like here's a multiplayer map, go at it. There's a bit of a
exactly. There's an element of a raid shooter where you go out and you collect stuff, you extract it.
Okay.
Use for crafting.
Say like World of Warcraft, Destiny, where it's an open world and you're able to like do things, and there's other people who are also doing them, and so that will how you'll discover the narrative.
Right.
Yeah. So you said it feels like it's real open world exploration.
Absolutely.
Okay. And then but it's multiplayer.
Yes.
As well.
Yeah.
So how many players? Like how big is that? What's the scope?
Yeah, so we're looking at large, so 100 players or 100 players in some of these battles. The open world is going to be, you know, we're shooting between 8K by 8K to 16 by 16K, so very large, lots of hexes to take over. And this would be the equivalent of like one of those hexes where a flashpoint is going off from.
Okay.
And you see here, for the demo, we only have 3 classes for infantry, light infantry, heavy assault, and medic. There'll be over 30 in the final game, where each one of these guys has multiple variants that do slightly different things. But they all have special abilities that allow them to fulfill their role. The light infantry can put down an energy shield in front of them. Heavy assault can shoot by using energy for a short period of time. Medic can heal. We have a healing gun, but also can hurt enemies.
You said, do you plan on having different, like more than just those 3 eventually?
Yes, we're over 30.
Over 30? Okay.
Yeah.
And are they some of them going to be like an unlock thing, or are they all 30 going to be available at start?
You'll be able to unlock them as you progress.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll pick light infantry for now. We're going to do a little tutorial here. See other players popping in the maps.
All right.
So there are 10 people out in the other. So this is attached to them.
So that's that. Nice.
We're
Okay.
the 11th player.
We're the 11th player. So right now, Holy Corporation has a bit of an advantage. So there are 3 factions in the game you can join or be a mercenary for. There's the Holy Corporation, which are religious capitalists. There's the Metal Punks, who are like anarchs. And there's Gear Breakers, who are kind of like cyborg samurai.
Okay.
In this version, we just have the Metal Punks versus the Holy Corporation.
Cyborg Samurai sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, they're pretty neat. So here we
Will
have.
there be any pirates?
Oh, we need some pirates. There we go. So
They're taking all the stuff. So
They're taking all the
one.
stuff. Okay, so you go grab something like that. That's
yeah, so in the final game, you'll have your own inventory and your own vehicles you spawn. For this
certain
guys, that
amount
one
of
is good.
machines per time. So for the purposes of PAX, we can respawn a bunch of vehicles, but in the real game, each player has their own sort of inventory of stuff. Okay. And so, like, you might have in your inventory like the jet or that big giant mech, and they'll have different sorts of like cooldown wheeling for each one. And so, which ones you want to bring with you at which point of the battle will be part of the strategy that goes into it.
Yeah.
Is there a certain amount at a time that you can have on the map, like a certain free jets at a time, or is there?
So for Faction Wars is a little bit different. That's when you can occupy territories. We wanted to put some level of balancing mechanic in there, where it's things like vehicles may cost points. So both teams can have 500 points on the field at a time.
Okay.
Maybe a super heavy mech costs 200 points. So you have to be really thoughtful about what your teammates are bringing out on the battlefield. That's going to reduce your available points for reinforcements and stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah. If all of a sudden, like, an entire team decides to all spawn jets at the same time, but it seems like you guys have a way to limit that
Yes.
and be able to roll it.
For Faction Wars. For the open world, it's a little bit more freeform. So a whole team may throw jets in there, and maybe they win that flashpoint, but it's not a permanent thing. So these become more like fun, freeform adventure flashpoints.
Because it's a little bit of rock, paper, scissors, if the whole team is all jets.
Well,
The other team shoots them all down, and now that team has no jets.
It has no jets.
Yeah,
And the other team's able to like advance while the other team's responding.
yeah, that's the thing too. Is like each class has a job. So there's you put this in the way.
oh great.
Somebody is trolling your map. So each class has certain abilities, and one is to be able to drop an energy shield to provide cover for your team, or to be a dick.
And then just being a dick right out the back. Yeah. Kind of one of those.
So how do you plan to do communication in a game with that many people? Are you doing it open mic, squad based?
We're gonna have guilds and squads, at least on that level. Squads, I don't know if we've really decided how we're gonna do integrated voice or just rely on Discord.
Right.
for that.
Discord, yeah.
Are you guys gonna have like basic push button communication of like, hey, go to this point, hey, defend this area, stuff like that?
Some like waypoints and stuff.
Like a
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
jeez.
You crashed into me.
We've talked about a lot of that stuff. Like we haven't sort of committed to what we're going to be doing in the order, but like voice is easy, but pretty much to do.
Like for me, and I'll be honest with you, one of the things I hate about big open world games is control kids on the headset and having to listen to them and stuff like that. So a lot of times is I'll do a point, but I might turn off chat with the being able to say, hey, defend this point.
One of the things that mechs and infantry are good at doing different things. The mechs are great, open battlefield type of stuff, but taking capture points, you have to go into the buildings.
You have to get out of your
You have to
vehicle.
get out of your vehicle, yeah.
Now, if you get out of your vehicle, can somebody else take it?
No one can take it, but they can destroy it.
Okay,
So,
they can destroy it. So it is vulnerable when you do
we
that.
wanted to do it. And we're designing systems where maybe you can choose to despawn it, but then you can only spawn it at certain locations. That means there's a risk.
You have still to go back.
Yeah, so now, you're not going to get blown up, but now you're vulnerable crossing the world trying to get to where you can respawn your vehicle.
I mean, if you obviously your choice is to say, are we going to destroy this thing or stop them from capturing? It's another choice.
That's another choice as well, yeah, because that
You know,
takes
from a
time.
defender perspective, what is more important to you right now?
Exactly, yeah.
And so it's this like a continuous back and forth, or is it defenders versus attackers, or is it just who owns most? Like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, whenever you own it, you start ticking up points.
Okay,
And
so points based.
So this is going to be whoever the highest points of the time owns out wins the match.
Right.
And we're going to do different modes as well. Like I said, some might be CTF, some might be you capture this point, it disappears, and a new point appears somewhere else. So you get points for capturing it, you know. We got points captured, bonus points, and then now we'll start picking up.
Now you mentioned obviously multiple games of inspiration, things you worked on. What is your favorite mech game or game series?
For mech game or game series, I mean, it has to go back to the original Mech Warriors series. I think it's still my favorite. Mech Warrior 2 is like was amazing.
You clearly go for more of a easy to pick up. Easy to pick up, more arcade style versus realism.
We're not going for a mech simulator.
Right.
As cool as that would be, I think for a game like this, it would be a big learning curve for a lot of players to jump into it and really get the kind of action we're looking for.
Drive a big robot and kick ass.
Exactly. Yeah.
Nick, you had a question. Rob.
Yeah.
So, question, like, can you squad up with friends prior to joining into this and stay as a squad when you join?
Well, there'll be like sort of social systems where you'll have like a guild ahead of time where you've got like trading and sharing. And one of the things we're really excited about in this game is using some of that like blockchain stuff with the NFTs.
Okay.
So that as you're leveling up, if you unlocked a cool mech, you want to be able to, like, you've got it, you want to give it to him, you can just do that.
Yeah, the
You can share it.
NFT idea. You guys are the ones that I believe I read that about.
Yeah.
Explain that concept to me of what your idea is with this NFT.
Yeah, because if I hear NFT, I worry.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yes.
I immediately I was like,
We get that. I think we've heard that before. Yeah.
So the whole point of this is that NFTs don't define this game. This is a game that has NFTs in it.
Right.
You're never required to put a wallet in. You're never required to buy an NFT. If you want to do that, that's up to you. You can craft by drops, like you can drop blueprints and crafting items. You can build your own mechs in the game. Now, those are NFTs. If you want to go sell those or trade them or do whatever you want to do with them, you can. But you're not forced to. So you can play this entire game without ever having to interact with that side of it.
Okay.
It's a purely optional thing. So it's technology we're using to really, when you buy a tank, more of the tanks, you're giving the company $60 to buy a tank. It's a similar idea if you want to invest on it or you want to get into the NFTs of it.
Let me tell you, like, the problem I think we're attempting to solve. It's like in World of Warcraft, you create like this dark elf. You like, this is the most badass dark elf ever. But then you're like, I've maxed him out. I'm done. I want to go play something else. But this dark elf, like, I now want to. You're just sitting there, and I could give it to my son. Now we could go on raids together and play together. Or in Call of Duty, I've just maxed out my submachine gun. I've got a great stock. I've got the red dot that makes me happy. But now I've unlocked this camo for my AR that's awesome. Like, but I can only play one at a time, and this allows you to like just give your friend or rent it or sell it or whatever the fuck you want. It is yours to be able to do it.
And you guys will have a marketplace for that?
Well, so the nice thing about, like, there'll be the in-game ability to trade it, to share it with your guild.
Okay.
But then if you want to take it out of the game and share it in the open world, like, you are free to do that. Again, that is totally optional. You don't have to do any of that stuff. But the Web3 technology unlocks within the game the ability to really do that without us having to create separate market. Like, we don't have to build like a storefront or all of that. Like, there's a lot of those systems that just exist naturally, and they can just enable that trading within the game.
One of the big things that for us, for when Halo Infinite came out, we both started playing. One of the things that drove us nuts, which is why I asked about the squad up and staying when you joined the game, is we would squad up and then get thrown into a big team battle, and he's on a different squad.
Oh yeah.
And so that's why I wanted to touch base with you guys on that.
Yeah,
is if him and I and say somebody else join up, if you guys are going to do a squad base, to make sure that I'm actually on
That's
the
the
damn
squad.
Yeah. I think squads would function like World Workout. Like you make a party. This is your party. You're not going to get split up.
And that would work across PvP missions, across PvP, doing these big open world battles. And you'll be able to form, small guilds, or be able to be part of like one of these really big builds, or maybe.
What platforms are you guys looking at for all platforms, or are you guys specifically going for PC based or
Right now we're just focusing on PC.
PC? Okay. Keyboard and mouse, obviously. Controller integration
Uh,
onto it.
We want to do controller integration as far as like light sticks and stuff. We haven't really looked into it yet.
Yeah, I was just saying too, it's more arcadey based, so flight sticks might be a bit on the harder side. But
Yeah.
You guys thinking about any VR type stuff with it, or?
I was just gonna say.
It's been brought before, but a lot of it is like, it's a longer form game. So sitting in a VR helmet for an hour maybe is not
I'm not a big VR guy. That's a question I'm asking.
And there you have it, our interview with the developers from Metalcore. Hopefully you got all the information that you were looking for this game. If you'd like to know more about Metalcore, you can check out their website, metalcore.gg, to find out everything about the features and the possibilities that we discussed in this interview. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day. See you next time on Geeks vs. Geeks.